One of the most well-known and disturbing images in the book of Revelation is the four horsemen. They appear as the Lamb opens the first seals one by one. What we see here is not simply a description of future events, but a deep pattern of history. In the previous video, we looked at the scroll. I'll put the link under the video. Watch that too. But what does it mean that the Lamb opens the seals? Does Jesus unleash plagues on the earth? The opening of the seals means that the stages of closed history are opened and begin to unfold. The Lamb does not initiate evil, but shows what is already deep in the world. He is the key to revelation. He does not send war, famine, or death. These are the consequences of opening history. Imagine the scroll as closed history and the seals as locks of time periods. The Lamb reveals what was hidden. When he opens it, he does not manufacture the events, but what was hidden until now becomes visible. The first rider, the white horse. He arrives with a bow, a crown, and conquers to conquer. This image has a double meaning: imperial expansion or false peace and deceptive truth. Because of the color white, it is deceptively pure. This is dangerous, when something seems good but wants to dominate. False victory is shiny from the outside, a white horse, a crown of recognition, but it does not come from reality. It wants more power, more influence, more control. This victory cannot last because it is not complete. The vision is not about whether something is successful, but about what it comes from and where it leads. Questions that will help. Does this victory lift others up or put them down? Does it bring long-term peace or tension? Does it increase freedom or restrict it? Does it lead to more love or more fear? This is not just history or politics. This is there in every decision. When you are right, but how do you use it? And when you are successful, but at what cost? When you win, but what is left after it? The difference is not in the fact of victory, but in its nature. False victory dominates and ultimately destroys. True victory gives and ultimately restores. And perhaps this is the most poignant sentence behind the whole vision. Not all victory is what it seems, and not all defeat is what it seems. A false victory always happens at someone's expense. That is why it leads to the second horseman, violence. The second horseman, the red horse. This horseman takes peace from the earth, and war and internal conflict appear. Brother turns against brother. It is not a simple conflict, but a breakdown of order. The great sword represents direct violence, hand-to-hand combat, and sudden personal conflict. If the first horseman is more of a systemic shift, then the second is already open violence that happens between people. But from whom does he get his power? The horsemen are not independent actors, but liberated processes. The sword is not just a weapon, but the consequence of a decision, an escalation of conflict, violence that already lives an independent life. In this sense, the horseman does not receive the sword from the outside, but the internal tensions of the world become the weapon. The point is not that he fights, but that he allows peace to disappear and people to turn against each other. The third horseman, the black horse. Here we see the collapse of everyday life at the level of the economy. He has a scale in his hand. Survival is no longer natural but measured. Man receives existence in portions. A denarius is a measure of wheat, and 3 measures of barley are a denarius. But do not harm the oil and the wine. The scale here means everything is divided into portions, grams, units. Survival is no longer natural, but measured. Man receives existence in portions. Wheat prices are high, staple food becomes a luxury. This is a world where everything becomes numbers. Oil and wine should not be damaged. Luxury remains, but basic food is expensive, an image of social tension. The third horseman is not just an economic collapse, but a deeper state. An age of weighing life, the ultimate symbol of the balance. Life is no longer a gift, but a calculation. The arrival of the black horse is the third stage, when the world is no longer openly fighting, but is forced into maintenance mode. And perhaps this is the deepest thought. When everything has to be measured, we no longer live life, but count the deficit. The fourth horseman, the pale horse. His name is Death, and Hades follows him. He is given power over 1/4 of the earth to destroy. The quarter is a sign of control. The world has not completely collapsed, it has only cracked. Chaos is present, but contained. The four horsemen are a process: conquest, violence, lack, and death. A spiral familiar from history. Do we recognize the pattern when it happens? Conquest starts out right, and destruction comes unexpectedly. Follow the channel because we will continue. Subscribe.